Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to look at replacing the headlights on a Jaguar F Type. There's not a huge amount documented about this process online. I managed to find a forum guide sort of explaining it in text, but in terms of videos on how to actually take the headlights off and replace them, not a lot. These have suffered from the crazing in the sun that these frequently are plagued with. There's a lot of people online making comment about how they're all cracked up from the UV exposure. So I've got a replacement set, second hand, from a car that's been broken. They are the LED style, so a bit harder to get hold of, but I'm going to change them out today and try and best explain the process, as I think that would have been very useful for me when I was trying to find out how to do this. So first things first, pop the hood, passenger side footwell, and what we're going to be looking at is primarily the bolts down the inside of the fender liner or the arch liner, depending where you are in the world. Just down the inside here, we've got a couple of bolts up top on the headlight, and then also we're going to be looking at these bolts here. So for the bolts at the top here, you want a 10mm socket, and then for the bolts in the arch liner, where are they? There's one, you just see it there, there. These are a T30 Torx bit. So what we've done, we've removed these two bolts here. We've removed the bolts in the arch liner, and we've removed this one bolt at the top here, and what that should do is allow us to then gain access. There you go. Now this bit's quite fiddly. I've knocked off two plugs here. There's just rubber grommets, these things. Just rubber grommets that flick out, and there's two 10mm bolts up there. Would be a lot easier with the wheel off. I'm being lazy, I'm not doing that. Undo the two 10mm bolts and the headlight should come out. And there it is, we've got the offending article out. I need to swap over the brackets. I think that's about it. Looking at it, I've got everything else on the new light going in. Just swap over this bracket and put the new one in. Before I go crazy bolting this back in, I'm just going to take the opportunity to clean this up. Now it's already looking miles better, but before I go crazy bolting everything back up, I'm just going to check that it works. Been stung by that before. Great stuff, they all seem to be working. For me, this part's about just taking your time, making sure you're doing everything up properly, putting the right bolts back in the right places, and just making sure you're doing everything properly and not damaging anything in the process. Take that bit of time and make sure you do things properly. So that's the headlight back in. Before I put these fender or arch liner bolts back in, I'm just going to check everything lines up properly. You know, the body lines with the light and the bonnet are all good, in case I need to get back in here to this bolt here. Looks fine. I've not clipped the bonnet down all the way, but I just wanted to make sure that this part of the clamshell wasn't going to foul on the bumper where I've had the bumper off. But that's the new headlight in, and it looks good. That took probably 15 minutes all told, so let's get the same done on the other side. So I think this side's going to be a bit more difficult. You've got the box of electrical tricks there just behind the headlight. Let me get that focused. Whereas on the other side, you had quite a nice piece of room to manoeuvre the headlight out. There's a big gap there. So let's see how we go. Didn't actually need to remove this end bolt in the end as well. I think I will still just give the bumper a bit more flexibility, but already looking way better. You can see these cracks all up here on the one I haven't replaced, and then that one there looking much better already. So as to be expected, the second side was a lot quicker to do. You know where the bolts are, you know what you're doing, you've done the first side, so this side was a lot more of a breeze. So I think they've gone back in beautifully. All the panel gaps are lovely. Headlights look 10 times better. One word of wisdom is watch your head on this part of the bonnet when it's up. Came into contact with that a few times. But honestly, I think that was probably 10 to 15 minutes aside after you remove the bolts down here. After you've found where the bolts are in here, remove those, look at your headlight you're taking, or you're replacing with, to see where the bolts are. Not a bad job at all, very easy to do by yourself in under an hour. You need a 10mm socket and a T30 Torx bit, that's it, 2 tools.